Welcome to Marketing Game Changer Secrets, where you will learn from one of the top leaders in the network marketing industry. Teresa Harding has grown her team to over millions of people. She's grown online, she's grown offline, she's grown organically, and she is ready to show you the secrets. She's ready to change the way you think. She truly cares about the success of her team and the people that she teaches. So get ready to learn the tips, tricks, and secrets that will allow you to grow a successful business in the 21st century.
I'm Teresa Harding, and this is Marketing Game Changer Secrets. This podcast is for people who know that this industry is not about the network marketer anymore. It's about the people we serve and the change we can make in other people's lives. It's about the entrepreneur inside each of us who is trying to find our voice. It's for the people who want to change the world and are looking for the most powerful way to make that happen. Hey, you guys, I am so excited to be here. We have an absolutely amazing treat today. This is Laura Jacobs. You just don't get in with Laura Jacobs. It is hard to have time with her, not because she doesn't have the time. She makes time for what she feels is important, but because her time is so valuable, people are seeking to be with her. So I just want to thank you, first of all, Laura, for being with us.
Thanks
I'm really
for having
excited.
me. I'm so excited to spend time with you as well.
Yes. We've been friends for a very long time now, probably over 10 years.
Yeah,
is that right?
Almost 11. Yeah. I met Teresa early August of 2008. So yeah, we've known each other for some time.
Yeah, and back then she was already very sought after. For me to even get in with her was kind of a big deal. And she's an iridologist. She's a natural health coach. I can't even list them all because you have so many credentials after your name. So in a minute, I'm gonna have you kind of share with them some of the things that you've done. Okay. And she's an expert in the field of health, nutrition, in essential oils, herbs. Unbelievable. She has been successful in business for years and years. She's been invited to present in front of thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of people in much of your career. Is that right?
Yeah. It's been a fun ride.
Truly excited to talk with Laura. You guys are going to want me to ask her all the health questions, and we will do that. But we also want to know some of the things that you've done to help be successful in your business. Yeah. So the first thing I want to talk about is where you can find Laura, because everybody wants to know how to learn from her, because she speaks at live events. But she's actually going to do something that is going to blow up like crazy. She's getting ready to start a podcast because she's in such high demand that this way it will kind of immortalize you, actually, which will be nice.
Wonderful.
She has a lot of content, both business and health-wise and professional. So I'm excited about that. She's going to be getting that ready, and it's going to launch, and people are going to go crazy.
Me. I mean, you can Google my name, and lots of people are watching videos and things that I've done. I'm definitely out there. Just Google in there. You're going to find all kinds of yummy conversations about business and products.
And maybe some interviews, some different things.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, good. Yeah, so look up Laura Jacobs, and thank you for coming on to our group right here. Yes. I'm really excited. So first of all, though, you are one of the most powerful people who really, truly do mindset in a way that just launches you forward, no matter what you do, truly. So the first thing I want to ask you is, bottom line is, you're so successful. What is it? Why are you successful? So a lot of people can't see themselves in this place of success. And we've both seen how, as we work with people, they hit kind of a lid when they're not really ready for the next level of success. You're so successful. Why?
So in other words, how do you keep lifting your own lids, right?
Yes.
Because we all have them, right?
Exactly.
We all have, because we don't know what we don't know, right? So everybody has limitations on their belief system just because they didn't know what was possible. Maybe you didn't think you could part the Red Sea, right? That just wasn't on your radar. And yet we're parting Red Seas in our lives all the time. Yeah. So I think each of us have our own unique motives, values, or traits, strengths, and things that we would tap into. So truly, I can speak to my own. Yeah. And I think some of those are things that can duplicate. But more importantly, I would say, this is what I've learned about myself. And I would invite people to learn about themselves. Like, what's your secret sauce? What do you lean into that's working for you? I would tell you the things that I've leaned into that I think have really helped with that is I have a lot of certainty. A lot of certainty.
Absolutely.
Now, I think the world would say it's self-confidence, but it isn't that my confidence is in myself. It's that my confidence is in my certainty. So I want to be rooted in truth, right? Mm-hmm. My core value in my entire existence is to be true to what's true.
Yeah.
And so just to be knowing of that. So to take the time to be knowing about your own existence, yourself, like know thyself, right? Like take Shakespeare's advice, like know thyself, and then draw certainty in who are you and what are your gifts and what can you draw on and what's the full measure of your creation. Stop worrying about everybody else.
And not trying to be like someone else.
The focus is to be certain about being you, and then to be certain about engaging in what you feel called to engage in. And that is definitely something that is a wellspring I draw from. Another thing that's very much inherent in my character is I'm super persevering. I'm not a quitter. I'm not. And when things get ugly, you probably won't see me walking out of the room. You'll see me being fiercely defensive of what I believe in. Okay?
Yes, and I've seen it, and she's good at it. Very good at it.
If on your watch you're killing yourself slowly, I might rally to your defense and invite you to value yourself more.
Yeah.
Right? So 1, certainty. 2, just like sheer determination and perseverance and not a quitter. And number 3, I'm super teachable. Now, my husband would tell you I may not be adaptable, but you know what? It's one of my strengths. Yeah. Because perseverance and adaptability don't necessarily coexist. But what allows me to be pliable is that I love learning. I'm very teachable. In other words, I'm extremely open-minded, but not in a just like a whatever way, in a grounded, knowledgeable way. Like I come in, and so I feel like I run very intuitively because of that certainty.
Yeah.
I know what to connect to quickly, and I know what to leave behind. So it helps me be more decisive and more discerning. But at the same time, like, it's hard for me, not that I eat breakfast cereal, but I'd rather mix them than only pick one, right? I'd rather have 3 flavors of ice cream than just one. So I love choice, and I love to learn. I love new things. I like to be constantly just ignited by awesome new possibilities. Like, I'm just
it's
enthusiastic.
fun for me to hear you describe that, because you're describing you.
Yes,
the Laura that I know, that's exactly what she's describing. But I'll tell you, I want you to notice something that she did. She knew off the top of her head 3 specific character traits that she is good at. There are a lot, it's obvious, there are some that are not your forte.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's not something to beat yourself up over. The thing that you need to know is, what is it about me what are the good qualities I have? And because once you know what those are, now you can figure out how to use those to make sure that you are going to move forward.
Well, and I think you have to know to get again, I can't say enough about abolish comparison in your life, but absolutely relish feedback. If something didn't go well or something went well, deconstruct the success or deconstruct the failure. Like, the teachableness has to do with I'm willing to pull back the covers and look at what's working and what's not working, and to do something about it, instead of saying, oh, I'm afraid of feedback, so I'm not going to look. Again, the learning aspect is huge. What did Einstein say? The ignorant or whatever of the future, I can't remember his word, won't be those who can't read and write. It'll be those who can't learn, unlearn, and relearn, or learn something new. So the teachability factor is huge. And then also be aware of what you're not. Like, I am really big into people aren't well-rounded on purpose. Like, I'm not really, I kind of get a little when I'm like, I am really triggered by self-deprecating comments from someone else. I don't really know how to meet you at you devaluing yourself.
Yeah. And in our house, if somebody said something like that, they had to do 10 push-ups. We had all boys.
Good.
It's like 10 push-ups.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know how to deal with that. Like, and I don't know how to, like, tell you how to get out of bed, because I'm super motivated to, like, get up and get things done, because I'm a doer, I'm a performer, and I'm motivated by performance. In fact, Teresa made a comment 10 years ago, and to this day, it changed my life.
Really?
Because she challenged me to do something which I didn't even know how to value. But yeah, it's probably one of the reasons I'm still sitting here, Teresa, because little things motivate people in different ways, and you just said the right thing to motivate me. And I was super unconscious about it, but looking back with consciousness, it's like, wow.
Yeah, I think we click on that level, because in some ways we're
wired similarly that way, and it's also important in leadership to understand that other people are wired and motivated differently. And if I approach everything in my lane, not going to necessarily have a connection.
So the next thing I want to ask, I think people will wonder, obviously, I mean, you've done a lot of work on yourself. You are really good and grounded with who you are. with what your qualities are. What's your take on personal development? Tell me what you think about personal development.
Well, and I think I'm sort of a rebel, and I'm so obedient to the whole idea at the same time. It's natural for me to want to learn.
Yeah.
Right? And I want to learn on my own terms, and I want it to stay fun. And if you tell me I have to get up every morning at 6 a.m. and I have to do my personal development for 15 minutes, I'm probably going to be the first one to disobey. But I'm going to do it all the time. I'm personally developing. It's not a thing I do. It's the thing I am. And for me, I prefer it that way, that it's just a natural part of my existence.
Yeah.
Is that I'm constantly willing and open and desirous of becoming more of the full measure of my creation, not because I'm interested in a blown up ego. I really don't want to get stuck at that ceiling. And if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the fourth level is what he called self-esteem. It's what I call individualization. That when you feel like you belong, you start to want to become significant in your social community, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You need to be like, you want to become who you're supposed to be in that group. And you can get really stuck on being important and being you. And I'm just not motivated by that. I'm super motivated by actualizing my potential, my God-given, divinely wired potential for a greater cause. Like, I'm interested in answering the call and doing it with excellence, which requires that I can bring as much of myself to the table as possible.
Yeah. And one of the things I've learned about you is it doesn't matter what the call is, if it's what you need to be doing, and it doesn't matter even if you have done it before or know how to do it. Your attitude is,
and it actually doesn't even matter if I get paid for it, which is when you know you're leaning into your strengths. If it makes you stronger, then you're in your lane.
Yeah.
And that's like the thing that happened with Teresa and I, is she challenged me to be something. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like, why should I do that? And then just one weekend I did it, and I didn't even know you got paid for it. And it's been like one of the richest fruits that's ever been born.
I told her, dude, you can do this.
Yeah.
You can do this. She didn't even know it was something that people were aiming for. And I said, this is what I want from you. You can do this.
Well, and she said, I want the greatest number of these people on my team. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. I don't even know if I want to be on your team. That's sort of my attitude, right? But 2 weeks later, I found myself doing it. And Friday night, I was halfway to the goal, and I called her up, and I'm like, should I keep going? Because I really don't know what I'm doing. And she's like, yes, you should keep going. So I kept going, and I accomplished something so significant in a week. And in fact, I don't think anyone's ever
no one has ever done that. It was phenomenal.
And the fruits that came from that, you know what was the greatest gift that you gave me? And the fact that I didn't know I got paid for it is actually a really cool. That's how pure my motives were, to just do it. And then, but the gift you gave me is what I accomplished became something to lose. And when you work really hard for something, and you see what it took to get there, and you're like, wow, I might want to maintain that. I might not want to go, whatever, I did it and let go and then come back and do it all over again.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do it all over again. And I thought, I should probably sustain this and grow it. So it's what kept me going. Right.
And I'd like to say I thought that through ahead of time, and I knew exactly what I was doing. I just wanted to motivate her, and that was just a nice
end result. You had no idea the significance.
I didn't realize how much. Well, I knew the significance of what it would do for you, but I didn't realize that second piece would happen.
Yeah, who
that
knew?
You would go, dude. Now I got to maintain. So now I'm driven to do this.
And really, interestingly enough, for almost 11 years, I've told my story, and that's always been part of my story. Is someone challenged me to be something. I have no idea why I did it, because I didn't even care, or so I thought. Until recently, I was in a training, because just to close our personal development conversation, I still go to trainings all the time, and I read books every day, and I'm probably reading 3 at the same time, if not 5. One's probably on my Audible, one's on my bedside, one's in my travel bag.
In different genres.
I probably rarely finish any of them.
I want to ask you a question about your business, because you are in a business that is a lot of people want to build. They see the dream, and you have grown a business of hundreds of thousands of people, you guys. This is huge. And so that's powerful. I want to know what has brought people to you. What is it that you do that recruits people? How do you get people to come? And what is it about you? And I get that you want to be humble about that, but people are going to want to know, what is it that allows you to bring these people to you to get them on your team?
Well, and the humility comes from, you don't start out and write on your bucket list, I'm going to build a network marketing team that's going to consist of hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah.
You don't even know that's possible. And so to be here and to see the merits of doing the thing, and if you can do it in a way that duplicates to get this kind of result, that's the number one takeaway that I would want to, I would invite people, okay, lean in and listen carefully, because you literally have no idea you can do that.
Yeah.
You think, you dream big and you see people having big results and you think, oh, I'd love to be that person or whatever. And I'd had tons of network marketing exposure to, I live in a place where we're the mecca of the world. So I will admit, I got invited multiple times and I did go and I did listen. I believed in the possibility, but I had no idea about the possibility. So I'm so humbled to be in a place where this is my reality. Part of the time it's like, pinch me.
I know.
Like, really?
I know. And one thing I'm excited about is that, you guys got to see her sass, you got to see her attitude, you got to see kind of some of the things that she's all about, and honestly, kind of how she's in demand. But I'm glad they got to see a little bit of the humility too, because that's one of the reasons I love Laura, that she's like this.
It's deep in who I am. I am humbled every day. I am overwhelmed every day with a sense of how blessed I am. And I take that very seriously. It's a stewardship.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people to have influence with. And I hold it in a great level of responsibility.
Yeah, it's a beautiful responsibility.
So how
do they come to you?
So you don't know what you don't know. So it's okay. Like, be naive. This is what I teach my team all the time. When you're starting a business, and the person you're starting it with is a baby in the business. Even though I'd done network marketing, I'd done oils, I was still an infant in doTERRA.
Yeah.
A mature infant because of my background, but I was still an infant in doTERRA. And you just don't know what you don't know. And at the same time, I don't sit a 2-year-old down and talk to them about the details of dating. That's a conversation you have with a 16-year-old or whatever, right? That's a 16-year-old conversation.
Yeah.
The 2-year-old's not ready to hear it. So I'd rather meet you at the 2-year-old and tell you what I do want you to know, because it's how you get to the hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah.
And it's simply this. You got to do the thing. A truly committed and capable builder who's going to create qualified engagement is going to do what they're told. 2-year-olds need to do what they're told.
Yeah.
And if you're going to come in and start reinventing the wheel and deviating from the norm, good luck. Because we've dialed this down to a perfect recipe of success.
Yeah.
Principle-based. I'm not talking about best practices.
Yeah.
There is a cake recipe, and you should frost your cake with you. But if you want to make a cake, you have to follow the recipe, or it's going to be like a souffle and it's going to fall, and then you're going to be one of those people who says, network marketing doesn't work.
It's a scam.
You and I are evidence that it absolutely does work to blowing our own minds, let alone the people we've done this with. And so someone came in and invited me to do this. Natalie Goddard was my friend, my student, my client, and she came and invited me.
Yeah.
And when she invited me, I'm like, no, and no. No, thank you. Love you, but no. But something had told me to listen, so I did. And I heard the message, and Teresa presented the comp plan. I'm like, oh, it's another comp plan, and she's promising it pays better than any other one. They all promise that. I had a ton of apathy. But I'm going to tell you what I did right. Even though I didn't have the best of attitudes, I did what I was told. Now, here's the funny thing.
That's true.
Is my uplines were pretty new at this. Like I would say, they're doing it for 3 minutes, and I've been doing it for 13 years, whatever. Not really, but that was my sarcasm. But I remember from all those other network marketing exposures that people said to make a list. So on the way home from a convention, from another network marketing company that I already distributed for, I pulled out my phone and my laptop. This is a long time ago too, by the way, so technology was in comparison to today. And I hand wrote a list. I had thousands of people between those two devices, and I wrote a small list of under 100 people. And I was wise enough to do the first 2 steps in 1 step. And again, it was just because I happened to know, and I was like, I think people say you should write a list, so I'm going to write a list. And I thought, who do I know who would be interested, and who do I know that would say yes to this? So I went for who to who. And that's exactly what we would teach you, is you got to write your 100 names list, and then you got to dial it down to your top 45 of who's most likely to lean in. Find your low-hanging fruit. And so I did.
And one thing I want to point out about this, because we talk a lot about building online and bringing in enrollments online. We do that, and we do it massive. And a lot of people will tell you that when you're bringing people in online, that's the new way, the organic, this is the old school way, making your list, talking to friends and family. The reality is they're missing
exactly
the boat.
Who I wrote down.
Because the new modern, the Mavericks, you want to know what's happening? They're approaching the selected people that they know, not just anybody and everybody, not anyone who breathes. They're trying to bring people in who really would be interested, people that they want to work with. And you want to know what I tell my people online? If you're bringing people in online, the first thing you want to do is you go find the 3 people that you want to work with, because you don't want to have the people online and it's just filled with whoever happens to come in. You want to make sure you get to pick the people that you're working with.
You're going to end up spending as much time with your key leaders and builders as you do your own family.
Yes.
They are going to become your family. So I did a few things right, Teresa, because I knew just enough. I was the 2-year-old, and I did the 2-year-old activities. I wrote down the names. I dialed it down to those who I thought would say yes, and I thought about who would be leaders for me. So I called up everybody to say, hey, I have a new offer, and here's why it's special to me. Here's why it's part of my mission and my purpose, and here's how it fits into the world of what I would think would serve all of us. And I had a really good pitch, and it was super simple, and I repeated it over and over again. But it was from my heart, and it lived for me. Mm-hmm. And it was sincere. It was based on my experience with my product. I used my product. I had smashing results. I had a story. I shared it. And it fit into and it became part of my purpose. And I'm like, here's what I want to do, and I want to do it with you. And I purposely called up leaders or builder potentials, and I purposely called customers.
And what do you think made them select you? Say yes.
Well, remember, I picked people, to the degree to which somebody knows, likes, and trusts you is the degree to which you say yes. So you could hear my story, and if I only told you my story inside of my company and you heard what I did in my first weekend, you'd be like, whoa! But you have to remember, I put in 12 years in my wellness center.
And in relationships before that.
And I didn't have you come do that presentation with me, but a lot of times someone should. I had no like and trust. Mm-hmm. I had both the trust and the credibility. You have to generally have credibility and respect and trust. So your typical person who's been doing oils or supplements or laundry soap or whatever for 5 minutes doesn't have credibility because their people know they've been doing it for 5 minutes. Yeah. So you need to bring someone with you who can give the groundedness to the conversation. That's why a 3-way is one of the most important strategies. I was my own 3-way. And again, I earned that.
Yeah, you had already earned that.
I had put in the time. I earned that.
Yeah. Okay, so what about the person who brought you in? Why did you follow them? Was it the same 3 things?
So you know what I love about the person who brought me in, and this is a really cool recruiting rule, is women actually tend to recruit down and men tend to recruit up. Women tend to get stuck in comparison and thinking less of themselves and just like, can I just invite you not to do that? That just doesn't serve. So what I love about my upline is she recruited up.
You were her mentor.
From paper to paper. I'm not talking human to human. I'm talking paper to paper. Owned a wellness center. Been doing network marketing for over a decade. Knows the product that she's selling inside and out. Understands comp plans. Has clientele. Has a following. Blah, 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 blah. I had it all. Yeah. I was a great choice.
In fact, she was learning from you.
She was my student. Yeah. She was my client. She was my customer. She's 11 years younger than I am. Her experience in all of it was not the same. Mm-hmm. But she asked me anyways. Because she saw in me the potential to be great in her offering. And she asked me anyways. And she didn't walk away after my first no. And I told her no multiple times. And the only reason I ever told her yes was because a voice inside of me said, I'll tell you literally what the voice said. I paraphrase it and shut up and listen. But what the voice said to me was, by her name, Natalie has always learned from you. It is your turn to learn from her. Which could not have been a better thing for all, because remember, here's my resume, here's hers, and I'm not talking human to human. Yes. I'm just talking experience to
Every human is priceless. Everyone's equal. We get
I never, ever looked back and thought that she shouldn't have been my upline. Ever. Because I always knew that I was to learn from her. And learn I have. And we have grown up together in this business. We have worked arm in arm, and we have built our business together, and I could never have done it without her. She was my confidant. She was my comrade. And yet she didn't hover over me. She left me alone in all the right ways. She nudged me in all the right ways. She didn't tell me I had to do it a certain way. She was my perfect upline. Absolutely perfect. Handpicked for me.
Cool. That is really cool.
Yeah. So be humble.
Yeah. Be humble. Definitely be humble, because look at what has happened because you chose to be humble that day.
And you know what? Be certain in your offer, because then you can recruit up. She was certain in her offer, and her certainty was what landed. And then
she knew you were lucky to have this.
And she didn't do a 3-way. She did a 5-way. Because she brought 4 of you.
She needed that.
And then, and it was that I needed all of your different things that all influenced my decision to say yes. And then you brought me to corporate too on top of it.
Well, and I'll even say,
I wasn't an easy
be humble
sell.
on the other side, because at that time, the company was fairly new, but I still had the biggest team in the company. So coming to Laura, it would have been easy for me to say, dude, I'm big, just come be on our team. I knew that wasn't enough. That's not enough.
Remember, I knew the company was only 4 months old.
Yeah, and I knew the level of credibility that I had. And it's okay. I don't feel good about it. I don't feel bad about it. It just is. I knew she needed to talk to people who had the experience.
So if we were to rate your doTERRA age at the time, right?
Yeah.
If we were to rate your age in your company at the time, the company that you were offering me, and we were to say maybe you were a preteen or whatever. I don't remember what your rank was, but let's say you were a preteen.
Yeah.
What I love about what you did is you still spoke with certainty about your compensation plan. You still said the thing to me that is why I'm here today. Like, she did what was age appropriate. She didn't have to be an adult in her business to still motivate me.
Yeah.
And so in recruiting, do not ever get stuck in this belief that when I know enough, and when I'm enough, and when I'm earning enough, and when I'm a rank, and then I can have influence on people. Hogwash. Okay? Hogwash. I just gave you evidence that 2 people who were clearly less experienced than myself changed my life entirely. And forever I will be grateful that they had the guts to open their mouths because they believed in their offer. And if you don't have belief in your offer, good luck with recruiting. That's all I have to say. And it doesn't have to be a full, mature belief. Take what you do believe in it. I had 1 oil experience, 1. And it was enough because I had such a sense of comparison with other products like my product to know that it was clearly different, that I ran with 1 story and recruited magnificently from there. That what you know is enough. It's the belief and the certainty with which you share it that will make all the difference.
Okay, so I want to ask you a question. Now that you have this massive team, you've been able to train thousands and thousands of people. It might even be in the millions probably, but you have been able to watch closely all of these leaders. You've seen the ones that are more successful at recruiting specifically and ones that aren't as successful. Tell me, and I'm going to ask you to tell me 3 things, and she can totally disobey if she wants, which she might. 3 character traits or actions or something that these people do. If you could narrow it down, you know what? The ones who are the best at recruiting, this is what they do. Tell me what that is.
Well, I'm going to keep it not even recruiting. It's because there's multiple aspects to a successful business. Again, we need commitment.
But I want to know about bringing people in specifically.
Okay, about recruiting.
Yeah, if you're bringing people in, how do the people who
recruiters,
enroll people?
Easy answer. This is a numbers game. And if you don't get in front of enough people, what you put in your pipe is what comes out. If you put a trickle in, don't be surprised when nothing's coming out.
Yeah.
If you put a little stream in, okay, you'll get a few drops out because it's statistics. It's 100 names, it's 45 who are ready for your message, it's 30 who will listen, it's half that will enroll, and then there's 1 to 5 builders that are going to come out of that 15 depending on the quality of your message and the quality of your group, of your social group, right?
I love it.
So it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
And if you aren't willing to work the numbers and get your message in front of enough people, good luck.
That's true.
Number 2, get good at your message.
Yeah.
You can blah and it'll kind of land. Just get better at it. There is a skills development to being able to craft your message in such a way that people react to it, right?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Get better at it. And again, enough to help somebody, so just engage, and then it's the action that will refine you. If you wait until you know enough, good luck. So just do it.
You know what? This is
do
perfect. And you know what I love? This is how we're going to end this. Just get better at it, okay? The sass in me is coming out. You guys, you are better than you think that you are. You can do this. Just get better at it.
You are practice, enough. You know enough people. Yes. You have enough with what you are. It is if you can deliver it from your heart with some certainty. So like, don't just blah out your first version. Like, sit down and practice it. Like, write it out a little bit. Say it in front of the mirror. Practice it in front of somebody. So you get a little bit smoother. It's not going to be perfect. It's going to be the 2-year-old version. Great.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. My husband and I sit around and hang out with 1, 2, 3, and 4-year-olds every weekend as grandparents. They're so entertaining. They're just magnificently themselves. There is something so wonderful about someone who is new and has this new excitement, and that they are so good at creating experiences for other people. When you get so good at what you're doing, you actually have to try not to be calculating about it.
Yes.
Because you have to, it's actually harder to be authentic the better you are at it. Because you've done it so many times. But it's like you constantly got to rally your heart. It's easy to rally your heart.
Yeah.
And to just be like super enthusiastic and authentic about it
I
right out of the gates, and let that work for you. And then go talk to your low-hanging fruit. There are people in your world who are praying you into their life, and the way you're going to deliver that message, just like my uplines did for me, it couldn't have been more perfect for me. And they didn't have to be any older or more mature or more polished. It was perfect. It was perfect.
Thank you. That's perfect.